All right, so big win yesterday against the Bills. That game checked I don't know how many boxes. Primetime win, defeating the Bills, knocking off a top team. Drake May's signature win, Vrabel getting his first win, Diggs looking great, offensive line doing solid, defense holding up, good play calling. I mean, minus essentially Stevenson's turnover, they were pretty clean, besides some, obviously also some bad penalties, some of which I was kind of like, are we serious? But in general, solid game. Gotta love it. That's your, I don't know, that's your catalyst here. You got a month really before the trade deadline. You get some wins going, and then things can get interesting, because if you win these next few games, you're looking at potential playoff berth. Again, like, I'm a 13 win guy. I know it's data analytics driven because of the probability and all the additions that you made this year. I'm still at 13 wins. Nothing has disrupted that model. So let's see what happens. 13 wins, you're in the playoffs. Maybe make some big moves at the trade deadline. Let's talk about one that might be very obvious right off the bat, which I think is Derrick Henry might be. If you're going into that and the Baltimore is like, we don't have it, we're done. You know, like, they lose 2 or 3 more games here going into November, they're done. Like, there's really no way of coming back. And Derrick Henry might be like, yo, if the Patriots are running the ball, need a running back, they look strong, could be a serious contender. Vrabel, right? The connection there makes sense. And you can grab Lucas Scott as their fullback off the practice squad, and you're cooking. All of a sudden now you have a ground and pound game, which you think about is probably something you should be thinking about going into, the Patriots should be going into a potential playoff scenario, because if Drake May's getting you up by a couple touchdowns or, 10 points or whatever, and it's going into the late third and you need to grind that clock down, you got to run the ball. Do you want to put Stevenson out there to put the ball on the ground potentially? Because right now Gibson's probably done. And Henderson, you don't want really grinding the ball in general up the middle. Terrell Jennings, I like as a practice squad guy. He can give you some elevations. You might sign him to 53 if he looks solid enough. But if you get to the end of the season, or near the trade deadline here, Derrick Henry makes sense to me. Now, in the immediate term, you could be looking around the practice squad. I did that running back help video a couple weeks or 3 weeks ago now. Again, I'll stress out Carson Steele. Coming out of preseason, most people had him as RB2 for the Chiefs media. They were saying like, hey, he's the second best guy, but then Brashard Smith was, they drafted the guy, so I see why they tried putting him through waivers. No, he's still sitting on the practice squad. Now, technically, they put him as a fullback on their depth chart. He's a power back. He's a workhorse back. He's not a lead blocking fullback. He carries the ball. Now, can he block? Yeah. Does he have special teams? Yes. Which is why I think he could be a good replacement for Gibson. And yeah, he can run the ball up the middle. That's what he did at Ball State and UCLA. He's got some ability to, he's not just a big bowling ball. He's athletic. He's got some burst. He's got decent hands. Not a great route runner, but he can catch the ball. Blocking's not bad. Pass protection, it's gotten better since Ball State, but still got some improvement there. But then again, what are you going to do, guys? You're going to have to get a running back at some point, because it's either Jennings is coming up at some point and you're going to have to get somebody on the practice squad or on the free agent that's floating around, or you're going to have to poach somebody for the time being and see if they work out. And if they don't work out, you get rid of them. Bring Terrell Jennings up, do a swap there or something there's some ways to manipulate it until it's time to make a big trade if they want to. Now, they could be going to the draft, which I think next year, there's not a lot of amazing, talked about this extensively, there's not a lot of great running backs in the draft. There's maybe some guys worth day 2 at this point, and then maybe hope they make it to day 3 and get a value pick, but it's not, I wouldn't rely upon a lot of guys. There might be 1 or 2 guys you really like and you'd have to like commit to them, kind of similar to what they did with Henderson, which is commit to a running back pretty high. And maybe that's the way to go. But that's the running back issue. Other trends that are still there. Safeties is still an issue. Linebackers still an issue to me. Those need to be addressed. Corners starting to climb up there. Potential tight end help. Not that they play bad, but the guys are getting up there. Some offensive linemen at some point in this draft again. And maybe a wide receiver if there's one worth it. You know, like there's a value pick. Guy drops for whatever reason, or the board's developing. There's a run on, you know, offensive lineman, all of a sudden a wide receiver sitting there in the third round that should be, you know, basically a second rounder. You want to grab them? Yeah, go for it. But anything else really to throw in there? I mean, that sounds just about everybody minus a quarterback, which, you know, this is a decent quarterback class. So if you're at day 3 and you're looking for a backup quarterback, yeah. I mean, I'm not really sold on Dobbs right now. So, you know, you got Tommy DeVito there. He could be your legitimate backup, and then your third guy could be a rookie. So maybe we'll look for that too. All right, let's get into it. Sorry for the choppy opening, but I'm just all over the place. So I haven't looked at this since the last time we did a draft, and I'm seeing some names that I like move up a little bit more. Baines moving up, Woods, Malioa, Spano, Downs still there, Jordan Tyson. Where do they have the Patriots picking, by the way? What's our selections? 12th. All right, so I'm thinking we're like high teens at this point after that win. So when we do this, I'm not going to pick Bain. I'm not going to pick Downs. I'm not going to pick Woods, Malioa, Fano, or Tyson. I'm going to assume they're all gone by the late teens. I might consider Proctor still being there, Sadiq or Hill. So one of those 3, maybe. The other ones, I'm just going to say probably gone. Someone's going to need a wide receiver before 20. Someone's going to want a disruptive D lineman before 20. Downs, offensive lineman, these guys could be top 5 picks depending on who's going to be, you know, the order. Anyway, let's get into it. We got 12 and then 50. So I think what I'll try to do, my first thought is, how do I get rid of this? Not that. Jesus. Can we get rid of that? How do we get rid of this? Thank you. Did they force me to watch that? Again? Oh boy. Oh boy, that's brutal. All right. Someone gives me like a late note. All right, so again, we're gonna just, before you start flipping out that I'm skipping these guys, yes. We're gonna go with Anthony Hill. Can we get rid of these things? Finneman? He's probably gone, right? No, I still see him, I think. There he is. Stay. Stay. Yep. Is there anybody that we have to consider above? Yeah, David Bailey. Yeah. David Bailey. If I knew we could get David Bailey, I might not go after Anthony Hill as much. All right. Antonio Williams looks pretty freaking good too. All right, I'm going to go Dylan Thieneman. You're probably hating me for going defense first, but if you've been watching these games, Singleton still, what was that? What is going on? Brutal. Justice Haynes, we might have to grab here. Yeah, I'm liking him more and more. All right, let's see what's on the board overall, and I might have to go with Justice. Damn, Malik Muhammad's there, though. For corner. Gabe Akis is still there. What's our picks here? 81. hold on for Haynes for 112. I'm not going to go edge, but man, man, Malik Muhammad right now would be great. But after that, that running back starts to really drop off, huh? Yeah, so I'm going to go here. I would want Malik Muhammad, to be honest with you, but as of right now, we don't have a running back that I really want to get later on in the draft, except Caleb Fagan, maybe later on, but he's just a big back. All right, let's see if we can get an edge guy. Oh, we've got Saka. Let me check out some more. I might go offense or wide receiver here. Yeah, Malachi Fields might be my guy here. Pregno. Saka. I think I'm going to do this. Chandler Rivers. And hold our breath and see what we get here. I'd like to get, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go Malachi. Big physical. I thought I picked speed here. Oh, there we go. 197. Now we're going to be, I don't know. Hurd, Lay, both good. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pass up Marlon Klein here, though. So, that's pretty good. Let's take a look at OT and see if... Oh, we got Brian Parker down here. Blake Miller's still up. Logan Jones is still in there. Kyle Lewis for some coverage linebacker. There's guys here that we could still get. Edge. D-line. Let's look at edge real quick. Patrick Payton is pretty freaking good. He hasn't got production, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just... You know what? Let's take a look at... Oh, Boubacar. That's fine. We'll go Boubacar. He's mostly edge anyways. And we can get Jaheim Otis or Bear Alexander, Lee Hunter for D tackle. That's options. There's dudes to get. I'm going to get my guy, though, here, which is Brian Parker. This is, I mean, I think he could go at any moment. I'm trying to be a little, like, genuine with when I would, like, want to target him anyways. I would have probably went earlier, actually, for being really honest. Quarterback could be another thing to consider here. So I'm gonna go Boubacar. He's more of a joker, moves him around. That can give me a shot at an edge. Or another D tackle with or an edge, or quarterback, right? Because we only have one left. Logan Jones could be in there. Guess we can go for Nico. I think I'd probably want... So like Nico would be like, hey, is this guy really gonna actually take to the coaching and like accept he's a backup quarterback? Right? Or this would be like, hey, how do you could really you know what? Maybe the way he plays, that might not be a bad idea. I was gonna say maybe like you're gonna deal, because if you, I mean, you draft him in the last, like, I doubt he'd be there, but he'll probably go back or something. Oh no, wait, you know what? He might be able to go back. I'll have to take a look at that. But let's just say that, like, up until that moment, I was thinking, you know, there's no way you'd want to have a guy like that. But at this point in the draft, if he's a pain in the ass, just get rid of him. If he's that, but here's the thing, like if you're looking for somebody who's got like upside, that if Drake May really does go down and your team's looking pretty hot, I mean, he's dynamic enough. I mean, he'll make mistakes, but like maybe, you know, Josh gets a hold of him, they structure the offense around him, and yeah. So this is actually probably one of my favorites. So Anthony Hill, if you can get Dylan Thieneman, probably not. They'd have to move up for him, because if they're moved further back, if you obviously adjust this down for being later in the draft. But Anthony Hill, Thieneman, Justice Haynes, Delp, 2 tight ends. This guy would be more of a more of a Hooper replacement. Marlon Klein would be your actual legitimate inline tight end. Chandler Rivers is just a good corner. He plays on the outside, but he'd be great inside. And then, let's see. Malachi Fields, good big tight wide receiver. Brian Parker plays right tackle, looks great at Duke, but I think he'd be great inside. So there's like a good, dynamic, versatile offensive lineman. Boubacar being more of an edge, but he can move him around. He's more of a joker, be a good weapon for Vrabel to work with. And like I said, it's a good quarterback class. If you can get somebody that could possibly be a decent backup quarterback, or maybe a reclamation project that you can, you know, that's got talent that maybe you can either maybe develop into the long-term backup, but then also if you want to, you develop them, maybe they become some good trade capital, right? Anyway, I'm just going to leave it there today. I think that's probably the fact that we hit essentially my top needs, like right in a row. You can move them around depending on how the board's developing, but linebacker, safety, running back, tight end with a corner, I'm happy. Get another big X wide receiver, inline blocking tight end, good offensive lineman, defensive lineman that you can move around, variety of spots, and a quarterback. I'm happy. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.